Hi, I'm Tim, welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it, and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing the Breitling Chronomat 44 GMT, 44mm in stainless steel. It is a substantial watch, highly water resistant, highly accurate, highly sophisticated, and high volume. This is a timepiece that stands 17 millimeters above my wrist. That's the thickness of the watch, and an imposing 53.8 millimeters from lug to lug, though I will mention that the sharp downward drop of the lugs makes the watch a bit more small wrist friendly than I expected. I would recommend it for wrists as small as 15 centimeters in circumference on that basis. The spacing between the lugs is 22 millimeters, so it does have a broad proportional stance. 22 is a very modern lug spacing that gives this watch an up-to-the-minute look on the wrist. The timepiece features a strap that is handsomely integrated. Breitling really thought this through. As you can see, there is a little bit of a recess and a flatted revetment to the underside of the case that allows the strap to be pulled straight down on both sides. And this means that ergonomically the watch works better than if there were any constraint in the movement of the strap. So it's actually quite wrist friendly due to the drop of the lugs around the wrist and then the ability of the strap to pull straight down. That's unexpected. And it's a good thing that the watch was designed as such, because the strap, brand new from Breitling, is very thick. They are not shorting you the leather. They're being very generous with material, bolstering it a little bit, stitching it with a contrast aviator style, and then there's a sheer cut to the side showing you the layers of construction. You can see Breitling traditionally using a butter soft calfskin on the underside, and this is a new Breitling factory strap. The clasp is a clever piece. It's stainless steel and it features a crimp minder, which means that you actually tuck the strap through and then it crimps. It then tucks underneath the opposite side of the strap, so there are no minder loops, and when sized, there's no excess length visible externally. I'll also mention, because it uses a crimping system rather than a pin buckle, there is no need for apertures on the opposite side of the strap, so the strap doesn't age prematurely as it gets gouged. You crimp it once to the size of your wrist, and then it largely stays intact. It's a clever design that looks clean and preserves your strap. The case band is very bright. This is traditional Schneider family Breitling. As you can see, I'll remove my fingerprints here. It's all of high polish, which is to say it is a brash looking watch. It's for people who want to live the pilot's lifestyle and let everyone else in the world know about it. The case design is fairly simple, but it does have some well-chosen curves, and I like the fact that there's a little bit of a rolled guidron or bar that runs adjacent to the underside of the bezel. The bezel itself is a captive style bezel. As you would see at Zinn, let's see if we can get a little bit closer, it's held on by screws, which means that it is remarkably resilient and it cannot accidentally be snapped off the way a Rolex or Omega bezel can. Breitling, always building their watches a little bit tougher. When we water test these in our watchmaking department, we have to use a hard case setting because the water testing machine compresses and then decompresses to gauge whether or not there's any air intrusion, which stands in for water intrusion. These cases cannot be compressed and these bezels cannot be snapped off. We have to use a special setting in the water tester, and the watchmaker has to physically disassemble the bezel when he takes the watch apart. It's that robust. There's a satin finished, almost digital style. This is the galactic style bezel that was introduced on Breitlings during the 2000s. It has rider tabs that are polished for contrast, and the rider tabs are a Chronomat signature and have been since 1983. You basically use them as grips, the better to gain purchase on the bezel. It is a 24-hour bidirectional rotating GMT bezel. Set the second 24-hour time zone to Greenwich Mean Time, and you can use the local GMT airport or port of destination offset with that bezel to temporarily read 3 time zones on the dial. Now, the watch features a flange outboard because it is a very sporty timepiece designed to gauge the speed of things moving very quickly. There is a tachymeter flange that allows you to gauge the speed of an object when used with the chronograph over, for example, a standing kilometer or a standing mile. You'll appreciate that the dial has a subtle rectangular quadrant center that contrasts with the sunburst of the hour track, so you'll also note that it crops the indices. So there is some nuance about the form of this dial. It's not simple, it's not standardized, it's a bit idiosyncratic, but it has a lovable personality for that factor. Polished chapter rings around each of the registers, which are sunken into the dial and feature a concentric snailing, So you have a blue, silver, and red tritone dial that's absolutely gorgeous, the classical onion-style Chronomat crown, and then you have true screw-down chronograph pushers, and the Breitling caliber B04 used here, which is based on the B01 manufacture movement. It has a very crisp column wheel feel. Listen up. It feels and sounds as sharp as anything from Rolex or Zenith. I give the watch high marks. The B04 caliber, protected down to 200 meters, is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer with both the column wheel, a traditional chronograph architecture, so very crisp, positive to feel and actuate, the vertical clutch, so the chronograph starts without any jump or stagger, and it can be left running full time. The vertical clutch does not create any additional wear and tear on the system. 70-hour power reserve, automatic winding, 28,800 vibration per hour. It is a manufacturer movement that's actually quite appealing. You won't see it, but you'll have to take my word for it. It's a good looking movement underneath this case back. It features both stop seconds and a quick set date, as well as the second time zone. See it and make it yours on the watch box. And we're back with the Chronomat 44 GMT. Note the loomed pearl on the GMT bezel. Not a universal feature of pilot's bezels.